And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Monday, January 6th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome a Monday morning. And we've avoided the snow, but it's kind of cold out there. It's not that cold. But anyway, we welcome you to our program. We welcome Matt Bryson this morning. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Matt, of course, is here to talk about Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. But before we get to that, I guess we could ask you, how's your weekend and what about the weather?
Well, my weekend was good. You know, we've been on Christmas break, so we took the kids for a quick trip during that period of time. And I'll be honest with you, Coleman, I am not a cold weather fan. I do not enjoy it. And we were actually in Florida, and it was all I could do to leave. So I come back to this, and all I can wait for now is for the buttercups to come. Right.
There you go. Well, Matt, of course, owner of Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, as I said, and that's where you'll find Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, RTVs. It's nice to even think about hay equipment this morning.
Well, no kidding. It's, you know, that's a time of the year where it's usually pretty hot. So a lot of guys probably not thinking about that right now. But one thing that we can kind of lead into on that is any of our hay customers that have bought hay balers from us over the last, I believe it's 3 years, Coleman, is our window. Kubota does first of all, they offer a 2-year warranty on hay tools, which is kind of unprecedented in the industry, but they give you a 3-year baler inspection. So we've been reaching out to those customers that have purchased those products over the last 3 years from us. We bring them in, or we'll go on site. We do a full, it's 50-point inspection or something to that nature, that we actually will go through the machine and kind of get it ready for hay season. It doesn't cost the customer anything. It's just another way that Kubota continues to offer that, you know, after the sale product support.
That is really nice.
It really is. Hay balers especially, they, not to get too deep into them this morning, but they are a mechanical part that there's a lot of moving pieces on them. And so oftentimes at the end of hay season, everybody's just kind of done, and they just put them up, and then when they get them out ready to go, something usually breaks. So this is a little bit of a preventative maintenance plan. It's called a pre-season baler inspection that we do, and again, it doesn't cost the customer anything if they're within that window.
Well, speaking of windows, I think we're in a window of time here about the first 20 days of January regarding maybe parts being available in a time for Kubota at their headquarters or wherever to be doing something that can affect you.
Yes, sir. We are in the system upgrade right now. This is about a 20-day window, as you said, and so we'll be out of that here at the end of right around the 20th of January, we hope. I can say that, you know, we've done a lot of preparation to get ready for this, and it's not going to impact us on sales. It's not impacting us in the service department. It's really just a parts department impact, and so, you know, if it's one of those hard to get parts, we are sourcing from all types of areas. We have our own parts supply. We have a big inventory of parts. We also can pull from other dealers who are choosing to participate in this during this period of time. So far, Coleman, we have one person that's dedicated. That's what they're doing every day, is working to try to source the parts that we don't have in stock and that we can't get from the manufacturer. And so far, we've been pretty successful.
Well, that's good. But mainly just a reminder here, time is flying, and the 20th will have come and gone before you know it.
That's right.
Well, you of course have the X-Mark zero-turn mowers. This is not the mower season either, but it's a good time, I guess, to get caught up and get ready for spring mowing.
It is, Coleman. And so right now, one of the good things about this system upgrade that Kubota did is usually at the end of the year, we have a hard cutoff on all of our programs. And so the start of the year, January, the financing is usually not that good. The rebates are usually not that good. But in an effort to try to kind of make this process a little smoother for the Kubota customer, Kubota extended those programs all the way through the 31st of January, or the 30th of January, excuse me. But the bottom line is we get with that, we get the December programs, which are some of our strongest programs of the year, because at the end of the year and everybody's trying to, hit budgets. And so, but we've now rolled that into January. So if you're out there looking for a lawnmower, if you're looking for a small tractor, we still have the 0% financing on the small tractors. We're going out to 84 months now, which is kind of unheard of. And so we've got another month here that we would normally lose.
Well, you probably don't remember every detail that Matt has given you here, but the thing about it is, before you make a purchase at all, check out Kubota and see if they don't have one of the best deals around.
Well, I appreciate that, Coleman. I think we definitely can usually find the product that fits the customer, and then also the pricing is usually very favorable.
And right now, of course, you're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed Saturdays till about daylight saving time comes along.
February. Actually, we open back up February on Saturdays.
Okay, well, a little sooner than that. Mm-hmm. a few more Saturdays, and you'll be open again.
That's right.
All right. Well, Matt, always good to see you, and thanks for being with us this morning. Stay warm, stay safe.
Thank you, Coleman.
All right. Matt Bryson with Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main in Lebanon. Give him a call at 615-449-6171. We're 10 minutes after the hour, and Sheriff Robert Bryan is with us this morning. Sheriff, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well. Let me tell you and tell our listeners that I have decided, because the legislature doesn't meet till another week here, to start our legislators that come on Monday next week, which allowed you to come one more time at 7. But for February, March, and probably April, you'll be on the first Monday in the month at 7:30. That's just kind of, we started with before we ever got you as sheriff, we were doing the legislators that way, and we move you to 7:30 during the session when we have them, but then go back to 7. You're an early riser, aren't you?
I am. Either way, I mean, it works out well for both of us, so I am early riser.
Yes. Well, we're always glad to have you with us, and there's so many things. We've talked about this a number of times, but the thing the sheriff is responsible for is you're the chief law enforcement person in the county for county government. You have to run the jail. You have people out patrolling the roads. You have a detective department. Plus, you're concerned, of course, about the court system. And right behind the jail now, we've got construction going. There's always plenty for us to talk about.
There is, and like I said, we always have something good to talk about, and yeah, there's a lot to do with the county sheriff's office. So,
well, let me interject in that. Got to see my oldest son Clark over the weekend. We even talked a little bit about you. You two were in school together, same grade, I think, at Sam Houston, I believe.
Yeah, same grade and graduated together too. So it's.
Yeah. Lebanon High.
Lebanon High School.
But he has fond memories of you, but not that you were all that.
Maybe he didn't tell everything, but yeah.
He didn't say hardly anything except that. But anyway, we did mention you, and he left real early yesterday to get back and try to beat the snow. He didn't. It was kind of rough going through Kentucky, but when they got to Indiana, he lives in Kokomo, by the way. When they got to Indiana, they could go 60 miles an hour. And his wife sent I think she sent 3 pictures of how it was in Kentucky. It wasn't desirable traveling yesterday.
No, it wasn't. And Kentucky got the biggest brunt of it. You've seen pictures on the news, and they was talking this morning. That line was right at the state line, so they said like 30 or 40 miles from the line. So we got lucky on this one, but there's some more coming in too. So
a number of the counties to our north and east have schools either closed or starting late today. Most of them are closed, but it's fine here.
Yeah, I didn't have no problems. It was spitting snow this morning when I pulled out of the driveway, but it wasn't much of nothing.
Well, what's happening with the sheriff's department? We've had 2 weeks here, which now it's kind of a down time. I mean, some of the county employees may have been off 2 of the 5 days the last 2 weeks.
And as you said, it's some of the county employees. But the holidays is a busy season for the sheriff's office and law enforcement in general. and we're open 24 hours a day, and we stayed pretty busy during the whole holiday season. And during that time, you've got to have you can't really cut your personnel down. You really got to raise it up a little bit because you got more people out and about, and just trying to protect the people.
Do you have much domestic violence to have to deal with? During the holidays,
yes,
especially.
Yes. There's a lot of that, and I've said it on here before. That these families get together a lot of times, and they just really don't get along. So they call us to intervene sometimes, but that's part of it. I mean,
well, you don't have any particular stories to tell us.
No.
The last 2 weeks, I guess.
No, but we looked at the numbers last week, and that the calls were for service was up last month. So that tells me something.
Yeah. What the shoplifting or porch pirating, this sort of thing goes on all the time. But I guess in December might be a worse time. What was your experience this year?
And a lot of your city police departments handle most of the shoplifting because all the businesses, stores, and different things like that are inside the city limits. But the way it affects the sheriff's office is them people are brought into the jail, and that's another figure we looked at last week was how many were brought into the jail, and a lot of them were shoplifters. And the thing about it, Coleman, these people are coming from other counties to come in here and commit these crimes. I'd say 95% of them are not even from here.
Really?
Yeah, and they go to these areas where there's big shopping areas like Mount Jewett and Lebanon and the Providence area and different things, and they target them areas. But I'm gonna say something. Mount Jewett Police Department, Lebanon Police Department really done a great job in curtailing that, because the reason why I know that is because the number of people they caught. And they do a great job. But like I said, the majority of the crime that comes across the county line out of Davidson County is just it would amaze you.
And we've had I think a number of car burglary situations. It's the same thing. Somebody out of town coming in here to do their dirty work.
Pretty much, and you see car burglars all the time, and majority of the time again they're coming across some county lines to do it.
Sheriff Robert Brown's my guest. Time for us to take a break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's picked up just a bit more in the last few minutes. Certain sections of Vietnam Vets coming through Hendersonville, through that section of Sumner County. A few stray showers out here in certain areas. When I say showers, I'm talking about some snow showers have been spotted this morning in certain parts of Middle Tennessee. I can see some moving out through parts of Wilson County and the Smith County right now. That can make things interesting at times down I-40, so be careful. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. Check them out today at PrincessHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
And we continue here on a Monday morning. We avoided the snow here for most of Wilson County. You know of any, Sheriff Robert Brown's here, you know of any place where it really accumulated?
No, I've heard up on the plateau, I've heard a little bit more. It's actually snowing.
But as far as Wilson County, we just hadn't had a lot.
We hadn't had a lot. So, and look at it this way, Coleman, we're just January 6th. We've still got a lot of winter left in us, so just...
There's a possibility of snow coming in here Friday.
I think so, and we're having a meeting on that probably in the morning to figure out what we think's going to happen. You never know with weather, but they're calling for some snow Friday.
As we come to the end of the calendar year, it's the fiscal year's halfway through. How are things looking for you budget wise? I guess you kind of stay on this all the time, but I would think that you might do a half-year inspection, or at least look and see which line items you're behind on and which you're ahead on, so to speak. How about that?
It's going well. We actually look at it on a monthly basis, and we get to the halfway point. We really dig into it and see where we're where we're headed for the next 6 months. But as of right now, everything's looking good. We're still, the only thing that's really affecting us right now is some of the overtime money in the jail, where we're having to pay overtime to fill in some empty spots that we've got across in the jail. So it's getting hard. We've got some openings, and you asked every time. Yes, we do have openings in the jail. It's difficult finding people that want to work in that environment, and once we hire them, to stay in that environment. So we'll hire 5 or 6 and get pretty much caught up, and within a month, something that they decide it wasn't for them, and they move on.
Sheriff, I don't want to at all cause you any. Well, it wouldn't be embarrassment, I guess.
How are you going to you're prefacing something here? I got to figure out what you're doing here.
Well, we've had some talk here about the private prison, in particular the one over at Hartsville.
Yeah.
You got to be concerned about state prisons and how things are done. And I do think if we don't have state prisons, it crowds our county jail. So you're not wanting I don't think you're wanting your jail population to expand, and then in 5 years be thinking about having to build more. But at the same time, we do have some problems from allegedly and reportedly have some big problems.
Coleman, there's a difference.
Privately owned.
There's a difference in a state-run facility and a privately owned facility, in my opinion. Yes, we have some serious problems in these private-run facilities. I've heard Tim Leeper on here, and we've had me and him's close. We talk a lot, and it's sad what's going on there. I've talked to the sheriff in Trousdale County, the sheriff there, Ray Russell, several times, and it's out of hand over there. It's broke. They're having one person. The way I understand it, here's the way I know this. I talk about these openings we have in our personnel at the jail. We're getting some correctional officers from that prison over there putting in applications with us. And you think I'm going to ask them what's going on over there? And yes, they tell me. But in saying that, you got one person keeping up with 150 people, inmates. That's it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why they're having all the assaults. That's why they're having all these bad occurrences in that prison. And I don't know who holds their hand to the fire. If it had been a county jail with all that going on in it, they'd been all over me, and it's not right. And we're paying them all these millions and millions of dollars, but I don't understand. It's broke. But that's a private-run facility, and it needs to be fixed.
Should the state handle the prisons themselves rather than dealing it out privately?
I think it needs to be really discussed, yes, because these private facilities, just because what's happening, if this private facility can't fix it, let's go a different direction. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. And over the past several years, nobody showed that we're trying to fix it.
How many of these situations do we have in Tennessee, or do you know?
I think there's 3. I know of 3 private-run state facilities. I think Trousdale County may be the worst one.
Yeah. Well, if we decided to do away with that, is it going to cost more?
It's going to cost. I mean, no matter, it's going to cost because you got to have a place to put these inmates. So it's going to cost the state government. It's also going to cost the county government because they ain't going to have no room to put send people to the state penitentiary. So it'll trickle down is what I'm trying to say if that happens. Yeah. But in the long run, you got to do what's right and what's the right thing. And they just need to go in there and fix it. Because, again, if it happened in Wilson County or any other county in this state, the state and the federal government would be all over us. And they're not all over them. So you asked me my opinion. There you got it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I think that to get something done, a lot of times you have to get dialogue going, and that's pretty much what Tim Leeper's doing. He
has, and I commend him for all he's doing. I've been to several talks he's had at different groups across the town, and he's getting the word out. It's what he's trying to do, and I hope he's successful, and I'll help him in any way I can.
All right, let's move on to something else. I mentioned earlier the construction that's going on back to the north of the jail and your office and the sheriff's place there. But there's the fence up. We can't see much yet until it gets up over the. I'm wondering how we're doing. You surely. Take a look at that every once in a while.
Yeah, I go up there about once a week, and there's really no difference behind that fence right now. They're doing a lot of electrical work and moving some electric lines like that. But as far as building stuff up, not yet. I think what I've been told is, they're pretty close to start building. Mm-hmm. But they've got to get that ground right and, start putting plumbing and electrical lines up under the ground that were overhead. So there's a lot going on, but you can't really see it right now.
Yeah. You have if you have one area of what you look after that's a bigger problem than anything else right now, or is the jail always the biggest problem?
It is, but there's a lot of other areas that, we really keep an eye on. Schools starting back up today. County schools start back up today, and city schools started up Friday, I believe. And we half the year's come and gone, and then we got to start another half year, like you said. And it's getting all the SROs into schools and keeping them safe, and that's a big area. Just every part of the sheriff's office is busy. I tell you one thing that's really jumped out to me over the past couple of months is the number of civil process, as far as civil process warrants, evictions, different things like that we're having to go out and serve, and it's every day. And we've seen them numbers go up over the past couple of months, and we're doing our best to keep up, but there's a lot of paperwork coming out of them courts.
And I suppose part of that can be the fact that we are still growing. We've got people coming in here. I suppose somebody moves in Wilson County nearly every day.
They do, and I think I've heard the figure. I mean, it's crazy about the number of people that's moving in here from other states, and tell you the truth, when I talk about these evictions, it's hard for people to work here and live here. The prices of property and different things like that, and that may have caused the up in evictions and different things like that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people moving here now. We just got to be prepared for it when as they come.
Well, now, I don't know how much you have to do with 109, but that's been in the news, and there's I understand the speed limit is going to be reduced to 45 miles per hour on 109.
We've got a lot to do with 109. Right. Us and Lebanon and the Highway Patrol. And I feel for them people that live out there. It's dangerous, and I'm glad. We've been in several meetings over the past couple of months as the problems we're having with wrecks and speeders and different things like that. And I reckon we took a team approach. Okay, if you're speeding, you're gonna get a ticket.
Yeah.
And because it's a dangerous stretch of road, and I'm glad they lowered it. But I can guarantee you, if they set it at 45, we're gonna get some going 65. I guarantee you. It was at 50, whatever it was, 50 or 55, and we was catching people going 90 in the turning lane. And it's people, and it's not all Wilson County residents doing this. It's Sumner County and Gallatin and all these people cutting across the county going to their employer. But we do have a presence. We have a presence out there, to tell you the truth, every day. Just try to slow people down.
Is speed the biggest problem? Is that what has caused? We've had some bad wrecks.
It's speed. It's speed. But if you look, there's so many roads that come out into 109. Okay, and that they've added a couple of lights down through there. But it's the amount of speed, and it's the amount of people, these offshoot roads that come out of on the 109, having to cut across traffic to turn and different things like that.
It's been a long time since I've been on 109, and to be honest, I've even avoided it a little bit just because of what I'm hearing. But I've been thinking about it, and having been there many times in the past, there are a number of people who live on 109, and for them to just pull out of their driveway onto that, I kind of feel for them.
It's very dangerous, and maybe the 45 will help out. A 45 mile per hour speed limit will help. But again, it's Lebanon, us, and the highway patrol are out there every day just trying to prevent anything from happening. I've had deputies just about get run over out there. And that's another thing we got to think about is we're pulling these people over on the side of the road of these, and people don't care. But I've had deputies about hit and about run over, and it's just as bad as the interstate.
Man, that's scary.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to leave on a negative note, but a word to the wise: slow down.
Slow down, and it's not just 109; it's everywhere. 109 is our focus right now.
Yeah.
But we get complaints every day about traffic problems across the county, and you just call us, let us know where they're at, and we'll try our best to get to them. And that's all I can say.
All right. Well, thanks for your visit. We'll see you in February at 7:30. On the first Monday.
I'll be here.
Thank you so much. Sheriff Robert Bryan, my guest, and that's part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more and hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, premium brands require premium parts and service. Contact Absolute Kubota's Elite Certified Service Department to schedule an appointment 449-6171. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It has increased just a little bit more in the last few minutes westbound Vietnam Vets as you approach Conference Drive, Wedgwood, right there at the interstate. That was a minor wreck getting some attention a few minutes ago. Still looks good right now. 24 up through the Antioch area coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. Still some troopers out here running radar. I-40, especially in the Mount Juliet area. Hey, whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, call Independent Roofing Specialists today at 991-2350. Go online to irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like the Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S., Z-Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $1,300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main, Lebanon.
Need a venue for your next corporate training, meeting, luncheon, or customer appreciation event? These are just a few of the event options that the Farm Bureau Expo Center can accommodate within its 79,000 square feet of adaptable event space. The Farm Bureau Expo Center offers unparalleled versatility for corporate events in Wilson County. Come on by and check us out. For booking details as well as upcoming events, visit farmbureauexpo.com or find us on Facebook. We look forward to seeing you soon at the Farm Bureau Expo.
We'll have cloudy and cold conditions for today. Highs in the lower 30s, mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the lower 20s, and then mostly cloudy, very cold again on Tuesday, highs only around 30. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here on a Monday morning, and we welcome you to part two. Gail Hellam is with us today. She's on the phone, but going to tell us again about the Farm Bureau Expo Center. Gail, good morning.
Good morning.
That on-the-air light kind of interrupted our conversation, but we're talking about their weekend, and a weekend's always good. Some are better than others, but this last one was a good one.
So true.
Gail Hellam, Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center. What do you want to talk about this morning?
Well, I will tell you that if you were talking about snow, and I have a client that was just west of the Rockies trying to get to Tennessee, and had been driving in snow for 3 days. So I'm real grateful that we're here. But looks like we got a little dusting of that snow stuff this last night. Mm-hmm. And I if we can keep it at that, I'll be happy.
What does that do to? I mean, if it snows enough, it can cancel or postpone anything you've got booked. But I guess every once in a while you have to deal with situations like that at the Farm Bureau Expo Center.
Yes, that's very true. And it's ironic that so this weekend we've got some smaller events. We've got a couple small events this week, but then this weekend we've got the RV show. And since I've been at the expo, May of 2020, we have had some snow every weekend, the same weekend of the RV show, every time.
Wow.
Which, if you think about it, makes it really tough for them because they have to get all those RVs to the expo, and that's not easy because they're bringing them from all over Middle Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So it not only makes it difficult for them to get them here, but it also makes it pretty challenging for them to quickly get them out of the expo and allow us to get ready for the next show. So, so there's that challenge. But to your point, we haven't had to cancel an event. So the way the expo kind of manages that kind of circumstances, when we have an event planner that rents the building for an event, essentially, that space is theirs. It's their call if they want to cancel the event. So a lot of times, even when the call is made that, the county isn't working, there's been a couple times that we've had to go ahead and facilitate helping to get the event to happen regardless. So it's their call, and we have to honor that.
Sometimes can be somewhat of a juggling act, I guess.
Yeah, well, exactly. Depending on the circumstances, of course, it could get down to, okay, who can actually get there? Because our staff does live in a variety of locations, but we do juggle it, but we can all, that's the really cool part about our team, is that we can all step in and support that if we have to. We all have our respective jobs, but we try very hard to work together and support each other's jobs if the other person can't get there.
Well, one of the things about the Expo Center, there's more than one room there, and with a little bit of cooperation, where maybe you were only going to have one or two events, you could even have 3 or 4 at the same time, and make up for one having been missed or postponed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, theoretically, we could have, because of the number of spaces individual spaces we have, we could have 6 events in the building. We've never had 6 events in the building. That would be a very busy time for sure. But I say that, but then again, the RV show is a very busy show. The boat and fishing show takes up the whole building. That's a very busy show. So, it doesn't really matter whether it's 6 spaces being taken up or it's the whole building being taken at one time for one event. Generally speaking, the more event space that you use, the busier that it should be.
Well, I think the main thing, just throw out the challenge there. You're going to find some way to do it if it's possible. And that's that's a good attitude that is displayed, and the show's got to go on. Let's talk about what's happening the rest of this month here quickly. Here, we've got about a minute this morning.
Yeah, so we've got the RV show, like I said, this weekend, and then next weekend we have got some smaller events scattered throughout the whole week, including South Hall is very, very busy this next weekend on the 18th, 19th, or 18th. And then we've got dance teams, and then we've got boat and fishing show. And that is followed by, hold on a second, the home show.
All right.
So we're gonna be thinking spring before you know it.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us this morning. We'll do it again next Monday.
Sounds wonderful. You have a great day. Stay
Thank
warm.
you. All right. Gail Hallam, Director of Marketing and Events for the Farm Bureau Expo Center. And with that, let me introduce my guest, who's right here live in studio this morning. I have asked David Thompson to come and be with us this morning. He's with the Tennessee Beekeepers Association. David, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you. You've been here once before, and I know we had a good conversation that day, but beekeeping is something that I think is alive and well in Tennessee, but is a growing thing. And when we think of how important the bees are and how we all like to eat and how we want to keep things being produced, we want to be sure that we're kind to bees, I think. You know a lot more about that than I do, but welcome again.
Well, thank you. And yes, the old saying that's out there is 1 out of every 3 bites of food you eat require a honeybee. If you think about it, the other 2/3, I wonder how much of that needs a honeybee to produce its fruits and vegetables.
Hadn't really thought about that. But you want to scoot up just a little bit here so people can hear you a little bit better. I did not know this until the weekend here. Maybe, I guess it was Thursday or Friday last week when we made contact. And you are a school crossing guard. Is it out at Tucker's Crossroads?
No, I am a crossing guard for Byers Dowdy.
Oh, in
the city schools.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You live out.
I live out in Tucker's Crossroads.
Yeah.
But I commute every morning and every afternoon into Byers Dowdy. And I get paid to tell people when to go and where to go. And sometimes I do tell them where to go.
Well, we, Sheriff and I have talked a lot when he's out here about the school safety and that sort of thing. How difficult is it to be a crossing guard?
It's not difficult. It's just, it's an easy job. I get to direct traffic, make sure the kids get in safely. I've got about 19 or 20 kids walking to and from school over Byers. There are some mornings, some afternoons that parents picking up their kids walking to and from school. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I make friends with a lot of their parents there.
Yeah.
In fact, in the school, they know me as Mr. David. It's nice, it's fulfilling. I get waved at, and I even get cussed at. I had one guy cuss me out and drive back through and apologize for it.
All in a day's work.
All in a day's work.
You do this morning and afternoon?
I do morning and afternoon.
Yeah.
Being retired, it gives me a chance to work, get out, get into a routine, run some errands after my morning shift, go home, get everything put away, then turn right around and, come back in for the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm not arguing about it.
Yeah. How did you become a beekeeper? Is it something you just picked up years ago, or did you...
You want the whole story?
Well, yeah, if we got time for it.
I made the mistake of telling my grandmother I wanted the Boy Scout beekeeping merit badge. My grandmother said, okay, and we went to Acme Feed when it was a feed store in 1967. I picked up my first hives there. My merit badge counselor was Leslie Little, who was a state inspector with the state of Tennessee. And he helped me get through it, and I'm one of the few recipients of the Beekeeping Merit Badge. I joined the Nashville Area Beekeeping Association for a couple of years. Then college and life and everything else got in the middle of it all. I got out of beekeeping. The company I worked for transferred me to Oklahoma, where I met my wife, and her father had beehives. So I took over managing his beehives. we lost his hive to now I know it was varroa mites. And so, but we enjoyed it. We had fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
She was out there in the middle of it all with me. Then came back to Tennessee, and we turned around. We were out at the fair one time, and my wife wandered off, and she came back, and she said, "Oh, by the way, David, we're now members of the Wilson County Beekeepers Association. But Candy, we don't have bees. You will tomorrow. There's a guy over there who's selling his beehives, and you're buying them."
So that's the story.
So for the past 20 years, I've been a member of the Wilson County Beekeepers Association. I've been a regional vice president for Tennessee Beekeepers Association. I've been their first marketing manager. And now I'm president of Tennessee Beekeepers Association.
How active an organization is this? If you're president for the whole state, you probably spend some time on the road and on the phone a lot.
I spend a lot of time on the computer, on the phone, and on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go talk to anybody about beekeeping. I'm not afraid of it, even though I am allergic. I have, beekeeping is important. People don't realize how important beekeeping is to us. If we don't have bees, we don't have food.
Yeah. Well, is this something that is a growing entity, or is it kind of reached a plateau and staying level, or is it on the downside?
Beekeeping is growing. People are more interested in it now. In fact, one of the programs we're working on, I'm getting ready to develop, is a mentoring program. We need people to educate new beekeepers. Bad need them. I mean, there are about 15, mentors here in Wilson County, but you've got over 200 members. I was in another association, they had 12 mentors, and they had over 150 people. We need people to go out and help these new beekeepers get going and be successful.
We need to take a break here, and we will in a second. Do most people get into this because of the monetary opportunity, and I'm sure there's all kind of reasons, but that would be one. Another one would just be to see that there's more honey produced, I guess.
Most people are getting into it because they're becoming environmentally friendly. The money, you don't see any money, until the second year of beekeeping. If you've got bees that are second year, then you're going to get some honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's prior to that people are not getting the honey. The first year, don't count on honey. Everything they build into it, you're going to need for winter stores. And, but the second year, when you pull honey off of it, it's a great feeling. It is a really good feeling. Even though it makes your kitchen sticky as the devil, it's fun.
All right. Well, I think we come back from a break. We can talk about maybe getting into that, and would like to do that. David Thompson is my guest. You're listening to Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get a battery installed on most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning, motorists. We're dodging a tire in the roadway a few minutes ago on 24 westbound at Haywood Lane. Still light to moderate right now. Would normally be heavy on 24 coming up out of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County into Davidson County. Still looks good right now. Down 65 through Millersville. The further north you go, however, on 65 on up in parts of Kentucky, road conditions not so good. Hey, when you need dependable towing, make sure you call STR Towing and Recovery. Check out their website website, strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And if you just tuned our way, we welcome you. Of course, David Thompson is my guest this morning. Mr. Thompson lives right here in Wilson County, and we've already talked about Trousdale Ferry Pike, where you live, but you are crossing guard, school crossing guard for Bowers Dowdy School, City School, morning and afternoon. They let you off this morning.
Yeah, it took some convincing. But when I said I'm going on Coleman Walker's program, my boss said, well, tell Coleman hello.
Well, we thank your boss very much for letting you come out. It was so into I'm listening very closely to what you have to say here, and of course, anybody that knows anything about the environment or about food or food chain and all of this knows at least a little bit about how important bees are. If we didn't have bees, we wouldn't have near as much food. That's for sure. And beekeeping is something that's been around for a long time, but it kind of seems to ebb and flow. And you told your story here, but let's talk about you do pretty much need a mentor or somebody to guide you if you're getting into this and especially hadn't had experience in it before.
Well, the thing is, and this is what I tell people, when I started beekeeping back in 1967, if you were in your hives 5 times a year, something was wrong. Now, if you're not in your hives every other week, every 2 to 3 weeks, something's wrong. Things are changing that fast. When I was in Oklahoma during the 80s and lost my father-in-law's hives, I didn't know anything about varroa mites, and that's when they came about. Now we're facing with small hive beetle. Varroa and small hive beetle created problems that, we weren't expecting. Mm-hmm. And varroa in its own right brought in about 40 different diseases with it. It is a parasite, and anytime you get a parasite, it brings along some problems of its own. And we're looking down the road. There are more problems coming down the road. The yellow-legged hornet out of Georgia, they're saying that they've eradicated the murder hornet out of Washington and Oregon, but it's an insect. I'm curious about that one. Yeah. And then we've got another mite out in the South Pacific that might make its way here, all because of the global economy. But as far as other things that are going on, some of the treatments are harmful that we treat for varroa are harmful to bees or causing disruption in the beehive. There's a myriad of problems that can come along with it today. But people are consistent, and they do what they need to do in order to continue to keep bees.
Well, let's talk about somebody, maybe whet somebody's appetite a little bit here to at least give it a try. Where would you start if you wanted to become a beekeeper?
Where would I start? I would join the local association. Right now, in fact, today, Wilson County Beekeeping Association meets at the fairgrounds tonight at 7 o'clock. Go join. Go sit in. Listen to what they have to say. Participate. Then turn right around. Any local association. There's a brand new one that's starting up in Smith County. There's one in just about every county surrounding Nashville, including Nashville area beekeepers. Get involved with them. Learn. Take their beginning beekeeping course, or as they call it, short course. Learn about it and find yourself somebody who will help you as a mentor, somebody who will take you into their hives with you and let you experience 10 or 15 bees flying around your head even with the veil on. Some people get freaked out about it, so don't spend the money. If you can handle it, then spend the money. Get that same person to come out and help you set up your hives, location-wise, and install the bees, and go from there.
Well, let me ask: can you? Are there certain restrictions? Maybe some city restrictions as to where bees can be, or can they go just about anywhere?
There's a state law right now that says that the city or the county cannot restrict your beekeeping. You can have bees on your property. The only problem we've run into on it, and nobody has challenged it yet, is in an HOA, in a homeowners association. Their hives on top of the conference center in Nashville. Their hives on a couple of hotels in Nashville. Nobody can restrict it.
Okay, if we got about 5 minutes here, we may have to hurry a little bit.
Okay.
But if somebody is interested, it does involve a little expenditure of money.
Yeah. I tell people, get ready to spend $1,000. You're going to buy 2 hives. That the reason for 2 hives is when I walk out and look at my hives, and I don't go into them all the time, but I go out there and look. One hive may have a lot of bees coming out, and one hive may not. Well, it's the one that does not that I'm going to go into and look. What's the problem? So, yeah, that. And
now you usually have to buy some bees from somebody, right?
There are a couple of good bee suppliers around the area. There's one out of Smyrna. There's a good bee supplier down out of Las Casas. There are people around here who will sell you bees. There's one, I don't know if he's doing it now, but he used to supply some really good bees here in town. But, it all depends. You can find beekeepers who are willing to sell either a 3-pound package or a nucleus hive and go from there.
Yeah. What's the lifespan of a bee normally? How long does it?
Right now, you've got a winter bee that'll last you until about March. But the average bee life expectancy during the spring and the summer is about 6 weeks. That's about it.
Oh.
The queen is the only bee that'll live longer than that. She can live up to 5 years. But most beekeepers are replacing their queens every 2 years because as time goes on, she gets lower and lower in her production of eggs and larvae.
Is there only one queen bee in a hive?
Usually.
Yeah.
Usually. Most of the times, actually. Usually there's one queen per hive. It's very rare that you'll find a hive with more than one queen.
Uh-huh.
And usually that means she's being superseded. So you might as well get ready to take one of the queens out and go from there and do a split and, make a new hive for yourself.
Well, it's fascinating, really, to sit here and listen to this because I really had no idea their life was that short, for one thing, but they must be producing a lot to take their place.
Well, one bee, to make one spoonful of honey, they have to travel around to over 1 million flowers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're losing a lot of habitat for the bees because farmers are putting dicambria on their plot, which removes all of the broadleaves from their fields and the broadleaves are what produce the flowers that the bees need. So, it's a multifaceted thing that we've got to straighten out sooner or later.
Is it going to require legislation?
Right now there's legislation on the books. It's just that, what do you do with it? Where do you go? You have to act on the list, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but there is a list that, a non-spray list that farmers have to notify beekeepers in their area if they're going to spray, so the beekeeper can keep their bees in the hive.
Well, let's talk. You got a meeting tonight. Is anybody that's interested?
They're more than welcome.
And no cost to come to the meeting.
No cost to come to the meetings. There is a cost to join the association, but it's minimal.
But come a time or two and see if it's for you. And tonight would be a good time.
Yep, and their meetings usually the first Monday of the month at 7 o'clock at the Wilson County Fairgrounds.
Where exactly at the fairgrounds?
The East-West Building.
Okay, all right.
Directly behind the conference center, Farm Bureau Conference Center.
Yeah, it's easy to get to.
It's easy to get to, and they're always open to anybody who's interested in beekeeping.
Okay.
The association, it's one of the larger associations in the state right here.
You be there tonight?
It depends on how I feel. I'm trying.
Okay. Well, we thank you for being with us today.
Oh, you're always welcome. You call me anytime.
All right. David Thompson, the Tennessee Beekeeper Association, and again, the local Wilson County Association meeting tonight, Ward Ag Center at the East-West Building. And what time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. All right. Well, David, thanks for being with us again. We'll have you again one of these days to talk more about beekeeping. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're always welcome.
That is it for a Monday. Join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.